Welcome, parents and families, to Back to School Night Fall 2020. First, I apologize for not being live with you today via Zoom because I do have another Zoom meeting for a teacher training. But I do hope that I'll be able to address your concerns about the courses I teach this year if you have any. I am Mrs. Arciaga and I've been teaching for 19 years already. Um, Currently, I am a work from home teacher and mom at the same time. I have an 8-year old who wakes up every morning and says, I don't want to Zoom because Zoom takes forever. And I do have a 4-year old who constantly needs help in finding the worksheets she has in her backpack. I am also married to a special ed teacher, so um, I do understand the struggles of your students during this online learning, but rest assured that I will try my very best to give your students quality instruction um, in algebra and geometry. Among my math goals are to deliver quality instruction so your students will become college and career ready, to make math meaningful, and to provide learning opportunities for all students. And equally important as the content that we teach is, of course, providing a safe support space for student self care and success. This semester, I do host two homeroom advisory classes. And if you want to join our text remind group for faster communication, or if you want to set up a parent conference, please take note of these information on your screen, or you can also send me a text message through my Google Voice number. Among the things we do for homeroom every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are when they log into Zoom, we do have a Padlet that has its daily themes as shown on the screen. We participate in small groups. We do independent reflection and some online work in Schoology. So these are just some of the activities that we have done so far. Okay, all these activities are supplements to the LAUSD modules that were provided. And we also have online discussion thread in Schoology for independent reflection or digital journaling. I also teach Algebra 1 and Geometry, two, two sections of Common Core Algebra, a section of Honors Algebra 1, and two sections of Honors Geometry and the STEAM Magnet. So if you guys want to join our text group via the Remind app, please text this information to these number that you see on your screen so you can receive daily text updates, especially during this time when Wi-Fi or technology is unpredictable. I think it's really important that we have another channel for communication. I also wrote down my Google Voice number here if you want to set up a parent conference. Feel free also to send me an email either through Schoology or via the school website. Now, these are our content standards for Algebra 1. And then the next page, you will see the one for geometry. But for all classes, I use the same grading scale and criteria. So I follow the district's scale for the letter grades. And among the categories for this semester are the Zoom or synchronous tasks that we're doing, the Schoology work, the Delta Math independent work, some Padlet work and project, and assessment. Zoom expectations. I do not require your students to show themselves in the camera. However, I want them to use the chat responsibly for maximum participation. Also, I will show you other means that we use to make sure that your students are engaged in the content even without showing themselves in Zoom. Now, equally important as the content we provide are the math practices, or basically some, thinking strategies and life skills that we want to impart with our students via all the math work that we give them. So among these are making sense of problems and persevering in solving them, reasoning, using appropriate tools, specifically during this distance learning, attending to precision, making use of structure, and repeated reasoning. And I'm pretty sure all these thinking processes can also be applied in the other courses your children are taking. Okay, so these are our MVPs, or our math virtual platforms. I'm pretty sure your kids are familiar by these logos right now. Use Nearpod, Whiteboard.v, Delta Math. They have an online component of their textbook. Schoology is a must. They use that every day. We have Desmos and GeoGebra. For communication, we have Google Voice and Remind. All right, attendance. So there are three ways in which I check attendance. Well, the very first one is they have to participate, log in, okay, and participate to Zoom. They also have Schoology work. And last but not the least, if for some reason they cannot join the synchronous time in Zoom or in Schoology, I encourage them to send me a text message explaining why, so I can evaluate whether I will mark them present or absent in the class. Now, on alternating Mondays, students check in via Zoom to receive instruction. So this is our math Padlet. Um, and this Padlet shows differentiated activities depending on what they need. Um, for some sections, it could be an extension or enrichment of the lesson that we previously discussed. If students need support, tutoring, one-on-one, some pre-selected students can also stay log into Zoom to receive additional support. And students in the magnet also sometimes receive project or tasks that are connected to STEAM concepts. Now, other evidences of remote learning include their digital notebook. We use this every day, and they get a grade for this one. They turn this digital notebook in every grading period. It's different from one chapter to another. And we normally use this digital notebook during the 40 minutes Zoom. Okay. And during the last 20 minutes, they do self-paced independent work via Delta Math. Regarding assessment, we use the Schoology for formative assessment and the Delta Math for summative assessment. Okay, so what do they have in their digital notebook? So parents, this is one way of checking whether your students are following along or if they're missing anything. They do have standards-based activities every week. I give them some interleave review just to kind of access prior knowledge and to connect what we will learn for that day to their previous lessons. To support comprehension and conceptual understanding, they have to fill up some graphic organizers on their digital notebook. I also want them to be proficient in explaining math concepts and procedures. So we do have a word wall to kind of, list down all the academic vocabulary words that we're learning. So this is in algebra. And I also use some graphic organizers to build up on academic vocabulary and, to provide them multiple ways of learning or representing some terms that we study. For step-by-step problem solving approach, and most of the time these are also connected to real life examples. So I sometimes give them like a know and wonder activity. Um, and a 3 read problem solving work in their digital notebook. So here they have, a way to um, think about what the picture is showing them and analyze what math questions could be asked about the picture. And these are just some samples of problems that can be modeled by using mathematical equations and concepts. And for synchronous or asynchronous work, now this is a screenshot of one of the tools that we use, which is called Desmos. And what I like about this is that even if they're not showing their faces on the cameras in Zoom, it shows progress, completion, and accuracy for all of my students. So the dots tell me that these particular student is on that slide. It also shows me whether the student got the answer correctly or not. So this is important for me because it enables it gives me information so I can give them immediate feedback on what they need to do or what they're doing incorrectly. And if I want to focus on one particular slide, for example, that's done very well, and I think that all the students can benefit from seeing that particular work done by a student, I could easily show that to the whole screen. It is automatically saving, so if they run out of time and they want to continue later, they can resume during asynchronous work. Um, so here, these are actual screenshots of what we did a week ago. So you can see that they can show their solution on the screen. I can see their live real time participation. If they need support regarding a problem, I could give them immediate feedback or help. And they can also use a dynamic keyboard for writing math symbols and text. Yeah, so all the ones here are entered, or they were entered by your students when we did this activity last week. All right, and here's another platform that we use for asynchronous work. Delta Math measures the students' accuracy, and one good thing about it is it continues to give them problems until they get 100% accuracy rates. In other words, if I do require them to answer 5 questions correctly, Delta Math will give them their sixth, seventh, or their eighth question if the first 5 questions were not all correct. So it pushes them to get 100% each time they do their homework. Um, and also for assessment, it creates unique assessment for each student. So this is one way of making sure that our test results are reliable, and students take responsibility for turning them in on time. All right, so if you have other questions about the courses I teach this year, or if you want to set up a parent conference, let me just go back here. Either send me a message or an email. You can go back to this slides later if you want to go back to, you know, you want to go back and read some more information. Um, I highly encourage joining us in the Remind text group, and for parent conferences, for one-on-one schedules, please send me a message through this number. All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I do hope to meet all of you in person, hopefully soon. All right. Have a good one.